Who is Ikram Aliskerov? 2 weeks ago on UFC 288, this guy made his debut, his official UFC debut, winning by knockout in the first round against UFC veteran Phil Hawes with a fairly undirectable, brutal knockout, which made him stamp the middleweight division. Maybe for a new guy that's fresh into the UFC, that hasn't been into it too much, doesn't know who that name is. Therefore, this new series, which I will take a look into upcoming fighter once a month, I will make a video taking a deeper look into a fighter that is contended to be one of the greats in the UFC. Who is Ikram Aliskerov? A multiple-time combat world champion from Dagestan, another Russian wrestler on the roster, you'd think. Being active in the world of Sambo since 2012, he caught the eye of many combat athletes, giving his record accolades by beating the craziest opponents. That being said, a 4-time Sambo world champion, he made his full MMA switch in early 2017, giving full focus for his MMA career with an impressive record of 14 wins and 1 loss. And only 30 years of age, which still has a lot of potential in him to break through in the UFC. He's been with a few different organizations and went on a long skid with Brave CF. He had 9 fights over there, which were 8 wins and 1 loss. You're asking yourself, what loss was it? Well, I'll come back in a minute. And Juarez finished the spot with Khabib's Eagle FC organization, where he fought once and won. That win earned his shot to show his skills to Dana White, and Dana White invited him to the Dana White Contender Series. He's supposed to fight his opponent, the Brazilian Mario Souza, and of course, he won that fight. He finished his opponent via shoulder roll, popping his shoulder out on a brutal way, in a horrific way, which also, of course, gained him the UFC contract. And you're asking yourself what I said earlier, how did he get that loss? With a stunning record of 14 wins and 1 loss, you ask yourself, who the hell beat him? As a 4-time Combat World Sambo champion, who's that guy to beat that crazy Russian? Well, we all know the guy that beat him, which is a crazier Russian. Khamzat Chimaev is the guy that beat Ikram Aliskerov, and that was the fight that Khamzat earned a UFC contract. All respect to both fighters, Khamzat still states that Ikram's the hardest opponent he fought, besides the War of Gilbert. But Khamzat stated clearly, Ikram is the hardest opponent I've ever fought. We can see the pressure that's amassing from Khamzat, and then Ikram drops Khamzat, and Khamzat tries to recover and tries to look after him, how he denies the takedown, and how he just stands still, and how he just took Khamzat down, and he's just withstanding the pressure like a crazy man. And then Khamzat tries it again and just doesn't work. So we can see a bit how his fight went with Khamzat in those few seconds that I just showed you, which makes you ask, how far will Ikram go in the division? Will he meet with Khamzat? I don't think he will meet anytime soon with Khamzat though. I think as Paulo Costa has drawn Ikram Aliskerov in UFC 298 in Salt Lake City, that fight was supposedly meant for Khamzat, I think, in the middleweight division. But since Kamaru Usman wants to fight with Khamzat for the top contender spot, then I think he will stay in the welterweight division. Ikram Aliskerov, of course, in his Octagon interview after his win 2 weeks ago, he won at Bonikal.
Hey, Bonako, brother, I heard you wanna say you wanna fight with Dagestan guy. Hey bro, I am here. I'll be waiting your answer.
Ikram is levels above Bonikal. Maybe that's a bit of an understatement, overrated statement, but to give Ikram a guy like Borachinya, a top 5 guy, that's just the same story as Khamzat versus Gilbert. That's just the same story. They want to spice up the division because Izzy beat everyone in that division, and they want a new contender in the spot to spice some things up. And I think Aliskerov will beat Paulo Costa in a fairly easy way. I know Costa is a killer and I like him a lot, but the young blood of Aliskerov and the stamina will catch up with Costa, I think, and that will determine who's going to get the top contender spot. Crazy times ahead. Of course, UFC Salt Lake City is just gonna be the craziest card of the year by far. The fights that are announced on that card, the BMF title again between Gaethje against Poirier, Poatan making his debut against Jan Blachowicz in the light heavyweight division, Borachinya against Aliskerov. The card is crazy. We even see Tony Ferguson on the prelims. We even see Derek Lewis on the prelims. This card is going to be a banger for sure. Alright guys, that's it from me. I hope you guys know something about Ikram Aliskerov right now and that you receive the same hype that I'm giving him. I hope to see more from him, of course. We are going to see more from him as we're going to see him in July. So stay tuned for next month with the next fighter, and stay tuned for this weekend where I'll drop another video about the upcoming event. See you guys later, and thanks for tuning in.